Hare Krishna. All pervading. That's all right. We're worried about this, but Krishna sees everything. Krishna's all pervading. We think, no, he didn't see that. I was giving a Sunday school class, and I was explaining how Krishna sees everything. And Prabhupada's example of, from the Vishwarup, universal form, that Krishna's two eyes are the sun and the moon, and one of them is always shining. So Krishna, even I close one eye, I can see with the other. So Krishna sees everything. This little boy raised his hand and said, "What about a moonless night?" He's a pretty smart kid. Immediately found the loophole. Oh, we could circulate these. These are drawings of... Why, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what we said. The marks on Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba. I'm not going to sing because my voice is so bad. It's not going to last. No, I think we're just going to skip it. Please excuse me. But there it is. Well, that's my point. You better stop now and conserve whatever strength I have, language-wise. So, you could... I'll do this. This is from that song by Narottam Das Thakur. And Ram, you want to say the Bengali so I don't butcher it? I'll read the English here. You can just come over here. No, this is something different.
Bajendra Nandana Jai Sachisuta Haila Sei Balaram Haila Nitai.
I think everyone knows what that means, but just in case. We could turn this up a bit, Jamal, or whoever's running. Are we trying to save money? Yeah, we're flowing. So the translation from that song is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who appeared as the son of King Nanda. The same Supreme Personality, Krishna, has now appeared as the son of Mother Sachi, Lord Chaitanya. That personality, who was formerly Balaram, has now come again as Lord Nityananda. And a little excerpt from Prabhupada's purport. This is a very nice song. Anyway, sung by Narottam Das Thakur. He advises that Nitai Pada Kamala, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Kamala means lotus, Pada means feet, are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one moon, but of millions of moons. We can just imagine the aggregate total value of soothing shine of millions of moons. In this world, Jagat, which is progressing towards hell, it is always a blazing fire, and everyone is struggling hard. We could turn this up a bit more. I don't know why they're so miserly. He's not there. He took a break. My voice is out of it, obviously. In this material world, Jagat, which is progressing towards hell, there is always a blaze. It's a great world, isn't it? Confirming our point. Oh, now it sounds like we're in the bottom of a barrel. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, let's just go with that, but there it is. We can just imagine the aggregate total value of the soothing shine of millions of moons. In this material world, Jagat, which is progressing towards hell, there is always a blazing fire, and everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, if the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which are cooling like the shining of millions of moons. You know, a devotee quoted this to a young man who later on became an initiated devotee. His name was Randy. I'll tell you who he became later on. But they said, this world is just on fire and it's full of suffering. And the future devotee said, maybe for you. He said, I'm having a great time, for a loser, you may think, well, but you just don't know how to, they say, those who say money can't buy happiness don't know where to shop. So yeah, maybe that's how you're experiencing the world, but I'm having a great time. And the point was about how this world is on fire. Now, this young man was living in Detroit, and he loved sailing. You can go right up the Detroit River to the St. Lawrence River and come out and sail. He got a job. He was going to be the first mate of a beautiful yacht, and his job was to sail it up through the lakes, the St. Lawrence, come and sail down to Florida and take care of it. He could live on it. He could, and some rich man would come down once, 2 weeks out of a year, sail around, and then that was it. I mean, it was his dream job. So to get the thing ready, he was sanding the deck, the old resin or whatever it is, varnish off the deck. And somehow or other, that combination broke out with a rash, and he had the dust all over him, and his whole body felt like he was on fire. He couldn't move, he couldn't work, he couldn't concentrate, he couldn't do the job. He lost the job, and he had to spend 3 weeks in the hospital feeling like he was on fire. So as soon as he got out of the hospital, he said, man, the devotees are right. And he moved in. And you guys don't know him, but you probably know. Udayananda. Remember Udayananda? Udayananda. That's how he became a devotee. So we're all looking for that cooling shine of millions of moons. But where to find it? Under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So the marks on the right foot of Lord Nityananda are a conch shell, a flag, a lotus, a bow, a half moon, a disc, a plow, 4 arrows, a rose apple, which we have right out here, a jambu, growing in the Krishna lounge, thunderbolt, and an altar. So we'll describe those. What are the meanings of these? And this is from Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. The conch, a conch shell with water like that, or for blowing. It means that Lord Nityananda's lotus feet will rescue us from all kinds of distress. Just like you have water in a conch, and you can water will put out a fire. Just like samsara. When there's a blazing fire, what do? Do you run a little hose out there, a big forest fire up in the San Bernardino Mountains? You out there with your little garden hose? Do you a little spray bottle? A little bucket brigade throwing buckets of water? Even though when it's a blazing fire, even those dropping the buckets of from the scoop up from the helicopter, or they drop none of it works. What do they ultimately have to do? Other than Dravida, who knows? I thought you were raising your hand, Girdhari. You're making a garland. What puts out a genuine blazing, one of those? You just have to pray for rain. That's it. That's the only thing that'll do it. So in the same way, but the water and the conch shell on Lord Nityananda's lotus feet say that they'll put out that fire, the blazing fire of samsara. Lord Nityananda's taking shelter of Lord Nityananda's. What does it mean to take shelter? Does it figuratively make a big cut out of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet and put it over your head. Follow the instructions. Pray to Lord Nityananda. But all of that, all well and good. But when it comes down to it, what does it mean? Instructions, example, but to surrender and follow. That's what it means to take shelter of. Okay, so that's one thing for the conch. Also, just like, where else do we hear about conches? A famous epic. Mahabharata. And what is a chapter of Mahabharata? Bhagavad Gita is a section of Mahabharata. And what happens in Mahabharata in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita? What are they doing? Dravida. And when Krishna blows his conch, everyone, all the devotees, the Vaishnava, they're all assured of success. So the conch on Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, they were fearless. That's my point. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that the conch means that there'll be all victory, all success for the devotees, and therefore the devotees are confident and fearless. Exactly. Also, the ocean of this material world. How will you swim? They swim. Has anyone swum across the Atlantic? No, I don't think so. They've done the English Channel. I think somebody tried to swim from the tip of Florida to Cuba. They tried, but it was a real, So imagine swimming across the Atlantic Ocean. You want to give it a spin? Hey. Well, yeah. Okay, good. There we go. Just want to make sure you're with us. Okay, so but if one take, how much water is in a conch shell? A little bit. So it's said that when we take shelter of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, that huge ocean of material suffering, it's reduced to the water in a conch shell. One can easily cross over it. There's also a flag, like Jaya Pataka, a flag. It's the symbol of victory. You have on, on Krishna's is Garuda. No, and then Arjuna is Hanuman, I think, isn't it? Or have I got that wrong? He's a palm tree. But Arjuna's Hanuman and he's Garuda. So even in modern military, not even modern military, and you've got the flag, and it shows where the king is, and it shows where your battalion, or there's the battle flags, and you can see where your army is, or the flag still. Okay, I'm going to keep fighting. You lose the flag, they give up, they capitulate. Their morale is deflated. So when you see the flag, the victory flag of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, it means that there's success. There's also so it says here, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, the flag announces that those who take shelter get security and protection from all sorts of fears. It also means that the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are the crushers of all obstacles. Obstacles. When you see a flag, also you know which way to go. Oh, go this way, go that way. So as you were saying, we followed the example of Nityananda's lotus feet. We know which way to go in this world. His lotus feet are compared to a lotus. As a bee seeks out a lotus, so the mind of a devotee is like a bee looking for the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Bees don't waste time. They don't think, maybe I'll stop for a cappuccino, or I don't know what to be. There's always tomorrow, And how does a bee go to the lotus? Does it zigzag? It makes a beeline. Zip. So if we're serious about our business, make a beeline for Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. Don't stop. Don't think, well, I could take shelter of this, I could take shelter of that, or maybe I'll take shelter sometimes. Well, no. the mind of a devotee is like a bee. As a lotus rises above water, the devotee whose eyes meditate on the Lord's lotus feet will fill with tears. I've tried to. Anyway, I've made a few mistakes to getting it out of the Bengali. Anyway, so you have the water is here and the lotus is up above it, right? So similarly, if we meditate on the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, we rise above the modes of material nature and all the distresses. Lakshmi always resides at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. We want so many things. Oh, give me this, give me that. But we're all, like, what is it? Everybody's chasing after Narayan. But everyone's chasing after Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is Chanchala. She's flickering, rich one day, down the other day. But where is she not flickering? Lotus feet. So similarly, if we go to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, all good fortunes there. There doesn't need to be any separate endeavor. There's how does the joke go? A man if there's a flood coming. I'm just thinking of the time. Anyway, there's a flood coming. And everyone says, evacuate. But the guy says, no, I'll just depend on God. So they say, okay. Then the water starts to come. It starts to, it fills up the whole street. And a boat comes by and says, it's time to evacuate. Get in. He says, no, I just depend on God. So then finally the flood's so high, the guy gets on the roof. And a helicopter comes. They lower a rope. Come on. He says, no, I just depend on God. So they, okay. Well, the helicopter takes off. Finally the guy drowns. So when he gets to heaven, or he's, got the option, he's there at the pearly gates, and he's got where's the complaint department? I was praying to God, and you didn't save me. Where were you? St. Peter says, what? I sent you the announcements. I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. So, Krishna's mercy is there, but we have to take advantage of it. So, the goddess of fortune is there, but we have to take advantage of it. All desires become filled. Also, Lord Nityananda's lotus feet are so soft that they can only be compared to the soft petals of a lotus flower. We take shelter of so many things, but they're harsh. Intoxication is harsh. Boyfriend, girlfriend, they find somebody better, they dump you in no time. What does they drop off the key, Lee? That out the back, Jack. I mean, they don't stay around and say sorry. They're gone. What is the famous mantra? Well, we can still be friends. No, they just broke your heart and dropped you down a shaft. But Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, he never rejects you. His lotus feet are very soft and merciful. You don't have to practice harsh yoga. You don't have to meditate in the Himalayas, in a cave, living on one chickpea. Take nice prasadam. So we like the soft lotus feet and the soft mood of Lord Nityananda. What else? Oh. At first glance, Lord Nityananda is so beautiful that at first glance, his lotus feet look just like lotus blossoms, lotus buds. As a lotus flower opens in the day and closes at night, one who meditates on Lord Nityananda's lotus feet feels the expanding, blossoming ecstasy that removes all darkness. So the lotus opens in the sun. So similarly, a devotee's heart opens when he feels the mercy. It's ever-increasing bliss or ecstasy, ever-increasing happiness. And the darkness closes. So it both opens and closes simultaneously. Prabhupada said it can be day and night in the spiritual world at the same time. Yeah, I was there. So what else? The bee, just like a bee, is just we were saying goes right for the lotus. So a devotee's mind, it's not sidetracked by jnana, it's not sidetracked by yoga, it's not sidetracked by material happiness. It goes right for the lotus, the blooming lotus of pure devotional service. It's like a bow. Why is the mark of the bow there? Like an arrow is fixed towards the target. Those who are fixed on Lord's lotus feet are freed from all worries and distress. Those stupefied in the material world remain motionless, stunned like a target. And if you're trying to avoid getting shot, what do? But you can't just run and straight. You got to dodge, you got to bob, you got to weave, But if you're stunned, you are literally a sitting duck. So people in this material world, they become stunned by the material nature, and immediately they're a sitting duck. Maya hits them with threefold miseries. Huh? Stupefied. Yeah, that's what it says right here, stupefied. Does it? Yeah, it says stupefied. Those fixed on Lord Nityananda's lotus feet never come back to the tastes of this material world. Like an arrow. It doesn't turn around and come back. So we just get out of here. Do your business, get out. When a devotee's mind meets the target of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, then prema is achieved. You can they have different ratings, different colors, but you get a bullseye. In fact, those expert archers, they shoot a bullseye, and then they can shoot the arrow that splits the arrow that hit the bullseye. That's archery. Oh yeah, there's people who can do that. Oh sure. There's people who can do that on horses. Huh? Oh, there's so many. But anyway, so just like that, what's the target? What is the target in life? What is the goal in life? Hey, way to go, my friend. But in this, that's like Prabhupada initiated the guy, who's Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who are you? I'm a devotee. You got it. So because there was so many goals in life, people who were completely agitated. But we know the goal. I'm going back to Godhead. Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. There's also a half moon. Who else wears a half moon on their forehead? Lord Shiva. Yeah, Lord Shiva has a half moon. So it says even Lord Shiva has the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda on his head. Bows down to Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. A devotee who surrenders to Lord Nityananda becomes as exalted as Lord Shiva, who's wearing that. As a moon showers its cooling rays, Lord Nityananda's lotus feet shine nectar on the devotees, extinguishing the threefold miseries. The moon is the presiding deity of the mind. Let Lord Nityananda's lotus feet be the ruling deity of our minds. Just as the moon is one, yet destroys the darkness of many, the Lord is one, but his cleverness is such that it can deliver many at the same time. The Sankirtan mission. You can't follow philosophy? Fine. Chant Hare Krishna. Oh, I'm attracted. I eat so many things. Like the guy I knew who was attached to pickled, barbecued, pickled pig's ear sandwiches. Yeah. Just take prasadam. We said it was fantastic. Up at SanDiego State, we had the Festival of India there. And they let us set up, we had a burner, one of those candy stoves. And we were a huge wok. And we were deep frying cauliflower pakoras. And then we had ready-made tomato chutney. And so, we would give, hot, cooked in ghee, cauliflower pakoras cooked in ghee with nice, spicy tomato chutney. So the football team, the SanDiego State, I think they're called Aztecs, they were running on the campus. They were doing their morning exercises. And they kept going right past where we were cooking this, I guess that was their route. And, what was that? But they kept going, because the coach was out there in front of them. Second time around, they kind of wavered. They were a little bit slowed down and checked out what was going on. Because they're big guys. Those guys they eat a whole refrigerator at one time. I mean, they're huge. So the last time they went around, that was it. They just froze. The coach kept going, that was it. But my favorite part is one of these huge guys. He must have been a lineman. I mean, this guy was like a block. He just threw in that pakora like it was a chickpea. And he said, man, better than Colonel Sanders. I thought, our work is done here, He'll Chicken McNuggets or whatever, they'll never be the same, man. He's tasted the real thing. So, as it's saying here, take Shadam. That doesn't work kirtan. That doesn't work profound philosophy. That doesn't work beautiful deities. We're not going to get done. Maybe we'll do this tomorrow one more time. But we had a guy, somehow or other, there was a devotee who had a resale tax number and a flower business. No, he had a jewelry business, and he had a wholesale number. To get a discount on the flowers, he used his wholesale number, so we didn't have to pay the taxes. He moved away, sold his business, this and that. Somehow or other, the tax number went up. The company it was attached to went up in air. We didn't even know it was beginning. 15 years later, we just paid whatever the guy told us. But he wasn't charging taxes. He got invested. He did some squirrely thing. He got investigated by the IRS. In the course of that, it came up that Harekrishna Temple, they don't have a legitimate tax number, and they've gotten 15 years of without paying taxes on the flowers. Oh, it was expensive, and then it was. I just got a letter out of the blue. Imagine, we're coming to see you, and because there was penalties, there was past due interest. It wound up being over $20,000. We don't have that kind. I almost had a heart attack. And, the guy I talked to on the phone was cold as ice. And they said, and we don't even think you're using them. I said, what, we're selling them? Come on, So they sent out an inspector. And my office used to be right down the street. I remember him coming down here. He said, I've got to see what you use all those flowers. And he came, and it was the noon arti. And the deities were dressed beautifully, of course, with all flowers. We used to have a lot more vases, nice big vases and all like that. And the guy was stunned. It was something happened to him, Krishna in the heart. He was standing right back here, and he looked at the deities, and he just was silent, didn't say a word. He just stood there and stood there and stood there. And then he didn't say anything. He turned to walk back to my office, We got back to my office. He asked me, do you have a stapler? I said, yeah, I got my stapler. He had a folder like this. He shut his folder, stapled it, threw it in his briefcase, and said, well, you'll never hear from us again. He just closed the case. He just deep-sixed it, as they say. He was so moved by seeing the beautiful deities that he just kind of harassed these people. Forget it. So, I don't know exactly how that compared to the Lotus feet, but... and we'll finish this part. But all the Lord Nityananda's cleverness, he's one, but he's shining everywhere with so many ways to deliver the conditioned souls. Prabhupada used to say your scheme. So scheme means, the mind is muni, the mind is agitated. How can I spread Krishna consciousness? What can I do to deliver these people? Prabhupada was always thinking about it. Prabhupada had a globe in his apartment on what was it? The first 26 Second Avenue or in St. Yeah, he had a globe, and he spun it, and he was telling Brahmananda, you'll go here, you'll go. I was thinking, what? We can't even pay the rent. And all of those things came true. So in the same way, instead of having our mind agitated for so many things, we're always going to be thinking. It's a question of what are you thinking about? What are we thinking about? So if we agitate our mind, how to serve the Vaishnavas, I don't want to mention names. Well, there's a number of you here. How to cook something nice for the devotees. How to cook a nice breakfast prasad or damara prasad. Hey, let's have a bake sale and they'll all get prasad and we'll make some money for some outreach. In so many ways. Everyone sitting here is thinking about far out ways to serve Krishna. So that's the moon, half moon. One last thing. His Dravida Prabhupada had a conversation about the 24 moons. 24 and a half. So the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, his toenails are just like moons, beautiful, soothing moons. So he's got 10 just with the feet. And the moon, it's the moon in the sky, it's just one moon. And compared to the 10 moons of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet, the moon is so embarrassed, it just shrinks. and only becomes a half a moon. So that's the half moon. We'll just do a few more and then we'll finish. Disc. Prabhupada said that Krishna has, what are the 4 marks? Not Dravida, not who we're going to ask. Kirtan, you caught my eye. What are the 4 marks on Krishna's lotus feet? Oh, let me ask you this. Not 4 marks. What are the 4 things that Vishnu holds? What are the 4 things? Yeah. And disc. Now, Prabhupada said, for the devotees, he has lotus and conch. Prabhupada said for the demons, chopping and cutting. The chakra and the club, clubbing and cutting. So there's a disc on the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. And what does it do? What does a disc do? It cuts. And it says here, it cuts down the 6 enemies of the devotees. Anyone know? Balaram? What are the 6 enemies of a devotee? And envy. 6 things. We're thinking the Chinese are our enemies, or whoever the latest is. Russians? No. Okay, but here's the real enemies. Tejatattva principle. The principle of brilliance, because I was going to say the chakra is illuminating also. So the brilliance, it's the brilliance which destroys the darkness of sins within the heart of a devotee. The plow. Anyone want to take a guess? That's good. But they're very good. But who is Lord Nityananda in Krishna Leela? He's Balaram. And Balaram is Haladar. So just to confirm that he's actually Balaram, he's got a plow on his lotus feet. To grow a crop, what do you need to do first? You got to break the dirt. You got to plow it first before you can do anything. You got an open field. You can water it till cows come home. But you got to break up the earth. You throw your seeds on unplowed ground. What will happen? Nothing. Yeah, they won't, So, to grow a crop, you need to first plow the field. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are like a plow that roots out all the weeds in the heart. And it makes the heart very fertile. So when the seed, the bhakti lata beej comes, it grows very nicely. So that's the plow. Also, bhakti needs to be cultivated. The field of the heart should be properly cultivated. It's not that you just plant the seeds. You got to take care of it. You have to cultivate it. So when the field of the heart becomes, first has to be cultivated, then the seeds are planted. When it's properly fertile and the seeds of bhakti sprout and grow, what do things do, generally speaking? But when you do all the cultivation and the thing grows, what does a plant ultimately produce? Fruit or flower. So what is the fruit or flower of taking shelter of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet? Krishna Prema. So that's why the plow is there. Okay, we can do a few more. That's the seagulls. They're looking for something too, but. A rose apple, or it's a jambu. It's a plant that grows on the heavenly planets. What does the jambu mean? It means that even the devas take shelter of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. It's like barley corn. Barley corn is a little grain, seed. It signifies, the barley corn on Lord Nityananda's lotus feet signifies that devotees receive all enjoyable opulence by serving the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Once one finds shelter at his lotus feet, then the devotee's journey through many, many births and death is cut short, just like the width of a grain of barley. It's a long, it's that old song, but anyway, it's a long road back to Tripurari or wherever we're going, it's a long slog. It's a hard march. But if we take shelter, Lord, look at the yogis. Look at the jnani. It is a rough road to hoe. But you take shelter, Lord Nityananda, it becomes very small size. And this is the last one, and then we'll pick up the rest tomorrow. These are just the marks on his right foot. He's got a whole set on his left foot as well. It is like a thunderbolt. Meditation on Lord Nityananda's lotus feet smashes the mountain of karmic reactions for sins of his devotees. You know, mountains, Lord Indra is always throwing his mountains and throwing his thunderbolt, smashing. So, you get hit by a thunderbolt, what are you going to do? You're going to put a shield up? You're going to, you can't stop it. It smashes the mountain of karmic reactions. And the one last thing, one who holds, because who throws the thunderbolt other than this crew? Who on this side knows who is famous for throwing thunderbolts? Hey, way to go, my friend. 2 points for you. Thumbs up, my friend. Who would know? Goes to show. Anyway, so Indra throws the thunderbolt. So even Lord Indra, he surrenders to Lord Nityananda. All right, we can end there. I do want to say one thing that I was going to say at the end, but who knows what will happen tomorrow. Who gives class tomorrow? Huh? Okay. Oh, maybe we'll do it Wednesday. Got it? Because he's probably planned it. Who's giving class Wednesday? You're giving class on Wednesday. Sorry, but anyway, we'll finish up these lotus feet. But what I wanted to say was, we were describing yesterday that we want to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and we have to cut a channel. His lotus feet cut that channel, and then the mercy will flow and pour into our heart. So we talked yesterday, how do you cut that channel to attract the mercy of Lord Nityananda, to fill our heart, to wash out all of our material desires and fill it with prem bhakti, pure ecstasy? What do we have to do? I keep thinking Garrett Hari's raising his hand. You have to give mercy. You want to get mercy, you have to give mercy. Makes complete sense. You can't, you get what you give. And if you give mercy, you get mercy. In fact, the more you give, the more you get. So we mentioned yesterday, whatever day it was, the Christmas marathon. You have to make a plan. If you want to drive, they'll tell, just like we're talking, what do you have to do? If you want to shoot that arrow, we're talking about the mercy of Lord Nityananda, what do you have to have? I mean, what's part of archery? You got to have a target. You said target? You got to have a target. So if we don't make a plan, if you don't point, you don't aim, how are you ever going to hit the target? Just, you're going to wake up out of a slumber, zing, shoot the arrow wherever it goes. You can hit one of these birds in the sky. You're not going to hit the target. You can shoot one of our neighbors. We'll hear about that. You got to aim. You got to make a plan. So, you got to make a plan. So, we want a plan. And the plan should consist of this. And we're going to put Balaram, Damodar, Zach. You guys need to think about it. And I want to see it. It's my job. I'm sorry. I'm not being any more arrogant than usual. It's my job. And temples all across the USA and Canada, from sea to shining sea, are doing the exact same thing. They got a plan. Now, that plan should consist of, first thing is, you have to know what we sent. The basis is the BBT. What did we send? How much did we send to the BBT last year, 2018? You get the number from Dayanidhi. Then you figure out what 15% is. It's not hard. 10% is super simple. Just move the decimal point. So anyway, you can figure it out. 15%. We're going to shoot for 15, because then we'll definitely hit 10. And we should do more. When LA sent in, I think it was $240,000 to the BBT last year, and I think Vaisheshika ISV was a little bit more. So if they've got to increase by, let's say 10%, what is 10% of $250,000? I didn't hear that. I know, he said. You're on a roll today, my friend. It's 20. You've got to increase by $25,000. That's no easy thing. What you say? I think ISV was like close to $500,000. We got $50,000. SanDiego, I think we did around $32,000. So what's 10%? That's only $3,000. They've got to increase by 50,000. We increased by 3,000. It's not that hard. It's not that much to do. You divide it by 12 months. What is 35 divided by 12? What is that? $300 a month. Come on. So, and remember that just like that money doesn't stay sitting in a bank somewhere. It prints the current books we've got. It comes up with new titles. Vaish says they've got 5 new titles they're working on for book distribution. It goes for loans. It goes for grants. 10% of it goes for building the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. So when every book is a brick in the TOVP. It's a new book coming out. It keeps the old books. As I said the other day, it was money. They bought a bus for the devotees in Nigeria, so they go out for book distribution. Bought a van for for RVC. So it just flows everywhere. So here's the thing. By the end of, we want a plan. You should know, and we want to see it on paper. Okay, here's our goal. Here's what we did last year. Here's what 15% looks like. Here's it broken into 12 months. Where we need to be, click, 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 to get it. And therefore we should know, okay, where do we need to be at the end of March? Then where do we need to be at the end of May? 2 months. Where do we need to be at the end of July? I'll send this guy to you, because here's what the plan, what you need to do. And then, so the point is that every 2 months, you should know, okay, here's where we are. Are we on target? Are we on course? Are we going to hit our target? We don't just, I'm sincere. Sincerity for opposite means to use your intelligence. So we want to make a plan, break it into 2 months, with, and some months are going to be bigger than others. You got to think about it. But it should, when you get to December, you should be 3/4 of the way there. Not you should be 10/12 of the way there. So there it is. If we want to get the mercy, with so many ways, the value of the mercy of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. And you get it by cutting that channel and let that mercy flow into our heart. And you cut that channel by giving mercy to others. And the best way to give mercy to others is give Krishna to others. And the best way to give Krishna to others is give them Prabhupada's words. Give them Prabhupada's association. Okay, we can end there. Thank you very much. And Wednesday we'll carry on.